Hello guys, I'm Ben Maiden and welcome to Entertainment Zone. So following my review of Avengers Age of Ultron, I wanted to have a bit of a spoiler discussion with you. Now the review was getting a bit long, so I thought we'll have this separate, this video this time, purely because well, there's a lot to talk about, isn't there? Let's jump straight in. I'm going to start with Hawkeye. Kind of shocking to find out he has this wife and children that he's been hiding, you know. We certainly weren't given the vibe that he was in a marital relationship during the first film. In fact, I'd even go as far as saying, you know, it kind of hinted at a relationship between him and Natasha, Black Widow. So it was a neat surprise, but it really did add to Hawkeye's character, and you know, it gave him motivation, reasons for doing what he does, and I just like the way they developed Hawkeye a lot, especially in the scene at the end when he's talking to Wanda, you know, saying, you know, you decide now, you can either stay here and wait for your brother to rescue you, or you can be an Avenger. You know, I'm just a guy with a bow and arrow, you know, but here I am. This is what I do. And yeah, I was very pleased that they expanded Hawkeye. The Black Widow Hulk relationship, as I said, going into this film, I was a bit apprehensive of such an idea, but it worked really well. There's a lot of chemistry between Mark Ruffalo and Scarlett Johansson. It was interesting seeing the two, you know, with each other, especially Natasha with Bruce and Natasha with Hulk. What I was surprised at was Hulk at the end, you know, choosing to go in the plane and take himself away. I thought maybe here, when this scene was coming up, I was like, oh my god, are they going to do Planet Hulk here? Is this what they're teasing? Is Hulk going to fly away and then go into space? But no, he's just flown off and crashed somewhere. And so I was a bit disappointed that they didn't tease that, because I think Mark Ruffalo has now earned a Hulk solo film. I know it's come out that Universal still owns some of the distribution rights to Hulk, so that could be what's causing an issue, but I do feel he's earned his film, so I was kind of disappointed they didn't go that route at the end with Hulk. It made it feel like they were just having him out of the way, ready for Civil War, where he's not going to be a part of it, you know. And this was one of my main little gripes with the film, is that very much like Iron Man 2, it kind of felt like the movie was about setting up something much, much bigger. Namely, we see the rivalry between Iron Man and Captain America. You know, Tony and Steve certainly don't see eye to eye on Ultron, on the Vision, and many of the plans that they have. And by the end of the film, you know, they have got respect for each other, but there's an underlying tension there, and I understand why they're doing this, but at the same time it does feel very much just like set up for Civil War. You know, had they not have announced Civil War, would it be an issue? I don't know, but you know, that's how it is. But even still, the you know, the mid-credit scene, we saw Thanos saying that, you know, he may as well do the job himself, and getting out the Infinity Gauntlet, ready to get the Infinity Gems. You know, that was kind of more set up. You know, that was setting up Avengers Infinity War. Now I know the whole MCU has been setting that up, but I don't know. I wish we could have had one more scene in addition to that, you know, a very end credit scene, whether it be something with Ant-Man or Doctor Strange, Black Panther. You know, it was cool that the movie went to Wakanda, and that Andy Serkis was playing Claw. But again, Claw just seemed shoehorned in there, setting up the Black Panther movie. There was no real payoff with Claw. He was very much a plot device. Makes me wonder, are they even going to use him as the villain in Black Panther? Again, a setup. But maybe this is contradictory. At the same time, I'm like, well, maybe we could have had a Stephen Strange Easter egg again, for Doctor Strange, or Carol Danvers, or even having like Coulson or some of the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show up, Yes, I did feel the film was setting too many things up, but at the same time, there are things that I think it should have set up that it didn't. And that did kind of... I understand the Avengers not needing to know Coulson's alive, but... I would have liked some of the agents to show up. This was another issue I had with Hawkeye having this wife and kids. I was just like, oh, okay, so he's got a wife and kids. I thought they'd maybe kill them off for shock value at the end of the movie. That didn't happen. So that left me thinking, like, well, okay, we've got Bobby Morse, Mockingbird, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We know that she's, in the comic books, Hawkeye's wife. Is anything ever going to come of that now that we've got, Velma from Scooby-Doo on the scene? I mean, Linda Cardellini was great. I've got to point that out. She was a nice little addition. And I like that they've grounded the Hawkeye character more. But I think for an emotional impact at the end of the movie, they could have killed off his family. That would have been certainly a new dynamic for Hawkeye moving forward. We should talk about the Vision as well. Paul Bettany as Vision was great. I was surprised that they made his, the sun-powered thing from the comic books actually the Infinity Gem. I know Loki's staff was the Infinity Gem, but I didn't think they'd take it out and actually put it into Vision. It makes sense, and I thought it was pretty cool how Thor's like, yes, we can trust Vision to look after the Infinity Gem at the end of the movie. It's also interesting that Thor is quite knowledgeable about the Infinity Gems now, and that will be interesting moving forward, going into the Infinity War. Talking of Thor, he obviously has these visions of people dying and Heimdall saying, "You've killed us all," which was cool. Again, there's no real payoff to that. So I'm wondering, was that kind of a setup for Thor Ragnarok? This movie is obviously setting a lot of things up, which is fine. But sometimes, they're portraying it as big plot points and leaving it dangling, which I do understand. But to me, I didn't feel the setup and storyline balance was spot on. Again, Scarlet Witch Quicksilver, brilliant. Though it came as no surprise to me when Quicksilver died. I wasn't even shocked by that. I was like, oh, okay. But I wasn't shocked because, as I say, I felt Quicksilver was very much second fiddle to Scarlet Witch. So, yeah, that death was interesting, but maybe that will motivate Wanda going forward. But for the audience, I didn't feel attached to the character, so it wasn't like a oh my god shock death. Had they maybe killed off Hawkeye or Black Widow, especially Black Widow, that would have been a real shocker. But alas, that didn't happen. I also had a bit of an issue with Ultron. He went from being created to becoming this supervillain very, very quickly. And then suddenly he's all over the globe. I know he can travel through the internet, but I felt his origin was a little slightly rushed. From going from this creation, finding his place in the world, to I'm going to kill everybody. It just felt kind of rushed. And I understand the time constraints of the movie, but to me, I would have focused on that a little bit more. And in a way, it sounds bad because I'm listing these criticisms, and even though I do have the criticisms, I can't knock the movie. It's a good, enjoyable film. I know Joss Whedon said it's a hybrid of genres. To me, it's a big action movie. The action scenes were great. Hulkbuster versus Hulk was really, really well done. But some of the scenes, some of them I was just a bit like, okay, this is very OTT. I love the opening as well, the raid on Baron von Strucker. That was great. But yeah, there were moments where I felt that action was getting a little too over the top. So with Captain America Civil War coming up soon, I imagine things will be taking a darker tone. So it will be interesting to see how that continues moving forward. One other thing I'd like to add as well is how awesome was that scene at the end of the film where Cap and Black Widow walk in and they're training the new Avengers. We've got War Machine there, we've got Falcon, we've got the Scarlet Witch, we've got Vision, a brand new team of Avengers. It's going to be interesting to see how the teams grow and who's going to be on whose side in Civil War. And just think, how many teams are we going to have by Infinity War? Because we'll have all those guys, the classic guys. We've got Doctor Strange, Black Panther, the Inhumans, Ms. Marvel, all on the way. Ant-Man. So, there's definitely exciting times ahead for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's pretty much all my spoiler discussion thoughts that I wanted to put out there. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on all things spoilerific from Age of Ultron, and also your thoughts on the film. So let me know here and on the review video. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at BLMaiden using the hashtag Entertainment Zone to find me as well, and on Tumblr, entertainmentzone.tumblr.com. And there's also the Entertainment Zone podcast. I have posted the top 10 films of 2014 video there, but it will be coming to YouTube soon. So yes, until next time, take care.